Good morning to grade 8 students. This is lesson 2, was, were, there was, and there were. But before we go to our lesson, for lesson 1 of unit 6, which is names and places, let's just have a review. So lesson 1, it talks about job. So job is a responsibility, and it is something that you do to make money so that you can sustain your needs, daily needs. So what are the common types of job? The first one, artist, doctor, musician, king, actor, queen, scientist, writer. Then we also gave the meaning of some common type of jobs. So the first one, a builder makes new houses and buildings. A waiter takes food to people in a restaurant. A mechanic works with cars in a garage. A hairdresser cuts and washes people's hair. An explorer visits new countries. A teacher helps children learn things. A farmer works with animals and grows food for people. A firefighter stops fires in houses and buildings. A chef cooks food in a restaurant. A nurse helps people in a hospital. So after you learned about jobs, we also tried to know what is a dream job, and we all know that a dream job is something that you really want to do. Maybe it's a hobby, or maybe it's just something that you want to do every day when you wake up, and before you sleep you're excited to do that kind of job. So I hope that you have done the first part of your homework. So now let's proceed to lesson 2. Lesson 2, it's about language focus. Was, were, there was, and there were. So the reference is your student book. You can open it on page 61. So what are the rules? We use was, were to talk about the past. Again, we use was, were to talk about the past. Number 2, was, were are the past forms of be. Number 3, we form the negative with was, were, plus not. So in short, was and were, when you think about this two words, you are telling a story from the past. Number 2, was and were are the past forms of be. And we form the negative with was and were plus not. So if the noun is singular, you can say was not. If you're going to use a plural noun, you're going to use were not. Next, these are the examples. Was and were. The past simple of the verb to be is was and were. Remember, the past simple of the verb to be is was and were. So remember, I, he, she, it. Yes, these are pronouns. We, you, they. So, I, he, she, it. You're going to use the word. You're going to use was, because I, he, she, it. They are in singular form, and we, you, and they. So you are going to use were. So I was at home. He was sleeping. No, I'm sorry. He was at home. She was at home. It was at home. Next, we were at home. You were at home. They were at home. Right? Again, was and were is a simple past simple of the verb to be. Okay? Next, there was and there were. We use there was if there is countable nouns which are singular. And you can also use uncountable nouns. So, apple, tomato. There was an apple. There was a tomato. Next, there were. So you're going to only use this for plural countable nouns. So example, there were apples. There were tomatoes. So now let's do it again. There was an apple. The first letter of the word apple starts with a vowel. So you're going to use an. You're going to use a if the first letter of the word starts with a consonant. So like T, a tomato. So there was an apple. There was a tomato. Next, there were apples. There were tomatoes. As simple as that. Now, next. There was and there were. So both of these words, we can use it showing if this sentence is affirmative or negative. So for singular, there was a king. So this is affirmative. And then negative, you're going to use was plus the word not. There wasn't any food. There wasn't any food. Next, plural, affirmative, there were a lot of villages. There were a lot of villages. Next, there weren't many people. So were plus the word not. So that means there weren't many people there. Okay? Next, for your homework, for anything else, what we just learned is about was, were, there was, and there were. So we can go and review the rules. Okay. What are the rules again? We use was, were to talk about the past. Only in the past tense. Was, were, we talk about the past. Number 2, was, were are the past forms of be. Number 3, we form the negative with was, were, plus not. So if you want to talk about something that is not there, you just add was plus not, was Yeah, was plus not, and then were plus not. Was is for singular nouns. Were is for plural nouns. Okay, next. Let's review. There was and there were. There was is for countable nouns, singular. And also uncountable nouns. For uncountable nouns, you have to think of that noun as a whole. Okay? So, there was an apple. There was a tomato. There was sugar. There was rice. Next, there were. You have to use it with countable nouns. So it is in a plural form. Next, there were apples. There were tomatoes. You're right. So now, for homework, this part is included in your homework. Write 5 sentences about things that are different today and 100 years ago. Number 1. Today, there are a lot of mobile phones. So, when you talk about something that is current or something that is on at present, you can use are. But when you're going to talk about the past and you're going to talk about mobile phones, it's considered plural. So it's plural. So you have to use were plus not. There weren't any mobile phones 100 years ago. Okay? So today, there are a lot of internet networks today. Today, there are a lot of internet networks today. There weren't any internet networks 100 years ago. So you can do like that. Okay? So that's all for today. Our lesson was language focus. Was, were, there was, and there were. So now you have to do part 2 of homework 1. So that's all for today, and I hope you will do your homework. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you are starting to complete your homework. Goodbye. See you next week.